Talk about where you started, what you did after university.
After I graduated University of Melbourne in Australia, and I stayed there for another 2 years, and then I came back and I was thinking about, should I join a law firm or corporate? So I'm thinking and decided to go to the Mongolia's top corporate company, which is called MCS Group.
And what did you do afterwards? Did you continue doing that?
No, I have worked for the company for almost 3 years, and then I just wanted to join another company.
And what kind of investments does your company make?
When I joined the company, our company has just established the venture capital. We have been making investments in most of startup companies in Mongolia.
How does a company like a startup raise money in Mongolia? Is there sort of the private route, the public market route, and within private do you sort of have?
Yeah. It's both, actually, I can say that. In 2021, our company is the forefronter of the private equity investments, and then some of our startups are now in making IPO in Mongolian market.
So the majority of your work now is investments?
Yeah.
Moving away from the craziness of COVID, what is dominating the investment space now, and where do you see the investment space growing?
In Mongolia and everywhere, we are focusing on, the world is changing to digital, so AI. So we are also doing the same thing, mostly for the digital lifestyle businesses and also application-based businesses and fintech businesses. Moving
away from practicing as a lawyer to in-house, what were the main challenges you faced?
Yeah, I think it's in my personality is I wanted to talk with people and communicate with them. So in law firm is basically in a very small group of people working. That in Mongolian culture, the company doesn't want to share with all the information with law firm. So the company trusts its lawyers more than working with the law firm. But in Western world, it's different. I know in law firms are very, focusing on deep dive into the company's information. But in Mongolia, no. So it's easy to work with the corporate than working in a law firm.
What would you say are the main differences between the legal system here and the one you learnt at the University of Melbourne in Australia?
It's completely different. Yeah, because Mongolia is like a civil law system, so we have to read laws and have to refer the legal clauses, everything. But in Australia, it's basically, there is a law, but basically have to follow the principles and values. I think that's the most important thing in the legal system, because everybody, when the lawmakers and even judges and even advocates and lawyers, they have to follow just what law says. But in general, above the law, there is some principles, so we have to have to think about the principles, what's right, what's wrong, what it should be. It's maybe the smartest in the common law system.
If you were to change the legal system here in Mongolia, what would you change?
That's very brutal question, Yeah, I think we have to focus on a court system, and I think in private sector should be less regulated and not so much government involvement in the public sector. Then public sector can grow itself.
And what would you say is the main challenge you face within your practice of corporate law?
In our corporate law environment is pretty good, because we have general regulations in corporate law environment is very good. And also, aside from that, in corporate lawyers, they can think and they can find a way from the law. So it's good for us, So I think there is not so much challenge, but when we are working with the governments, it's getting difficult for us. That's the challenge when we start working with, especially working with governments for getting permits or extending permits. That's license. It's difficult for us.
Could you explain the sort of legal framework around how foreign companies invest in Mongolia?
We are very interested in getting foreign investments in Mongolia, especially from third countries. Why we call third countries, we have just two neighbors, Russia and China. So we want to have a third neighbor. So our government wants to have some policies to attract foreign investments. So in general, Mongolian foreign investment environment is quite friendly, but our changing governments over the years and policies have been changed as well. So that's the reason some of the foreign investments are getting out of Mongolia or maybe on hold to make an investment in Mongolia. But I hope it's getting better in the next few years. But like in 2010, our foreign investment legal system is pretty friendly. So I hope this goes back.
Why is foreign investment becoming harder in Mongolia?
Because of the tax policies and because of the permits and licenses. And especially foreign investments are mostly interested in mining sector, but our royalties and taxes are very high for them. So and also our government decided that the license is not transferable. So when they have to make investment, they have to buy company in whole, and also they have to make some taxes before earning income. That's the reason for now.
And why do you think the government does that?
I think the government doesn't want to. I don't know. It's when I worked in a law firm back in 2015 and 2014, a lot of foreign investments came in Mongolia, and foreign investment companies at the first stage they had to work with law firms because they want to know the Mongolian legal system in every sector. Then 2016, 2015, a lot of them going out of Mongolia because of the tax system changed. And I have done a lot of dissolution of companies, winding ups, and doing that. At that time, that was so sad. They have to, the investors came to Mongolia to make some profits, and then because of the legal systems, not the legal systems, some law changes, and it's not friendly, they go out.
And do you see this as sort of a phase in which the government...
Yeah, I think, I hope it should be some phase.
Outside of foreign investment, what does domestic investment look like?
For domestic investments in Mongolia, is because of the private sectors is growing, so domestic investments is well growing. But again, it always goes back to tax issue. When some sectors, foreign investments make investments, and they get some tax incentives, but domestic investments, when they make investments in domestic companies, they don't have any tax incentives. And you know that some companies want to grow, and the bigger companies want to invest the companies, but there is not so incentives from the government. This should be, for me, it's as a lawyer, this is kind of discrimination for foreign investors. If you are a foreign investor, you can get incentive. If you are a domestic investor, you have no. That's we have to look back into that investment law as well.
How do your contract work? What are the main challenges you face when drafting?
First company I worked for, the mining company, which is oil, and then I moved to South Gabicense, which is coal mining company. And when I worked there, and they have both Canadian investment companies, so basically most of the contracts are in English. But when I just started working in the company, I have just kind of filling in contracts in English, and some of Mongolian company directors came and signed on the office. They said, okay, I don't understand these English words, so they just sign. They don't know what's on the contract. So that's so hard for me. So I have translated every contract into Mongolian, and they have both English and Mongolian versions. So for me, that thing is quite good for me as well, for improving my English and also knowing some English terms also in Mongolian terms. But basically those contracts are based on common law systems contracts, and our legal system is different. So I have a lot learned, and I helped some Mongolian companies too, translation work.
So these were for mining contracts. So when foreign investors come to Mongolia, or and what do you enjoy most about contract work compared to the litigation?
In contracts, I have to assume everything and have to be put in contracts. And some in our legal system, if it's in the law, we don't need to include in the contract. But I think everybody is not a lawyer, so even they have a contract, they don't have to read law. But it must be, and I have to include everything in the contract as well. So it's easy for both parties can read the contract and get the general understanding from everything. And also I really have to follow the principles. Both parties should win-win, so I don't want to make a one-side dominant contract. So that's my principle to do drafting contracts.
Can you talk about any interesting cases you've worked on?
Yeah, I think when I worked with an American company, and they have, American law firms have a lot of documents sent through. So there is a so short amount of time, so I have to read through all of them. But when I read the contract, it's mostly based on American law system, and the applicable law is also U.S. law. So always when I'm making contracts, and the first thing I want to try to do is we have to select third country law. That should be neutral. So I think I am not allowed to say back to the question, to say some cases to share. But I have a lot of things learned. But when we are making investments, we are doing some due diligence from legal and financial, technical, and I have learned that not only company we have to make due diligence, also we have to make, know your customer. We have to do some due diligence on director or board member or owner, on that person itself. That's the thing. As long as we cooperate with the two companies, but we have to work with the person, have to communicate with that person, even it's an executive or even it's employee, we have to work with them. So we have to check them, their personality. That's the lessons I learned. It's very challenging for us.
To a foreign student or foreign professional that is unfamiliar with the system here, is there any other differences that you could speak to?
Yeah, of course. But if that foreign person, when coming to work in Mongolia, they should have to learn, first Mongolian culture, Mongolian personalities.
And what personalities are there in Mongolia?
In general, we are quite shy and we are respectful. but we couldn't say directly to say no or yes or no.
When we've been texting people, we ask a question, they just don't respond. It's like, they don't say yes or no. It's
yeah, that's very interesting. Sometimes if we say no, but you have to ask them directly question. Yeah, the questions, yes or no questions, I have to ask them. And also for the legal system, it's very accessible to lawyers. Our Mongolian legal system is a legalinfo.com or MN, legalinfo.mn, and we have most of the foreign investor-friendly laws in Mongolian in English translation official.
Oh, wow.
So you can go to that website and you can click the English translations of legal and you can find.
What do you miss most about Melbourne, Australia?
Yeah, studying in Melbourne University is awesome experience because I have had a chance to get lectures from Oxford University professor and Penn State, Harvard University professors.
Where do you see Mongolia, whether that be the legal system, political system, or more generally going in the next few years?
I think because I have kids, so I want Mongolia has a great future, and I think Mongolian legal system could be also, I'm really concerned about our court system, and so I really need to think about our legal education, and legal students should study more and have more knowledge, so then people can trust our court system. That's I want to have improved in the next few years. Also in political wise, we have to listen and we have to have to say that.
That's okay.
Yeah, and political system, it should be stable, and we have to trust. We have to make our plans in the next 5 years be based on their policies. So that's I want to have. Not otherwise, every year they have to change. It's not going to work for everybody.
What advice would you give to younger people?
I think study more. Study more, and communication is key. And consistency is key, I think. Then it will all work.